we've been gaslighted, again, through kind of this top-down information control to think it's almost like fringe to talk about this 1 ton of food we put in our mouth a year that's literally full of hormone-disrupting chemicals and neurotoxins and other issues that impact all over our body. It's like fringe to ask, well, maybe that's having an impact on the fact that our reproductive systems are shutting down and our metabolic health is out of control. It's the primary thing.
Yeah, let's talk about this because we were talking about this a little bit last night. Yeah. You showed me a TikTok from someone criticizing a friend of ours, and he was really almost calling her classist.
Right.
And you and other people pointed out this article that a great reporter at the Washington Post did some amazing reporting on, that some food companies are actually paying dietitians now or paying influencers like this guy to introduce these seeds of division among us, or to promote these either racist or classist narratives when anyone begins to question the quality of processed food. Calley, it is racist to question seed oils in infant formula because mothers can't afford anything else. This is sinister. Tell me about this.
This is tried and true. And this was known when I was working for the food and pharma companies 12 years ago. It's known today. You can shut down the debate if you call somebody sexist, if you call somebody racist, if you call somebody fat phobic, right? Nobody wants to be called that. So this is known, right? These folks that work for pharma and food companies know how to rig the debate. So something I did back 12 years ago when Coke was trying to stop the halt to the food stamp subsidies is we paid the NAACP. And this was reported in the New York Times during that period. Coke paid millions of dollars to the NAACP, the leading civil rights group in the country, to say it was racist to take away food stamp funding for Coke. Okay, so you had the lead civil rights group that's done a lot of good things in American history, literally calling lawmakers, calling mothers who were concerned about children, lower income children eating too much sugar, calling them racist. Okay, so it's a very simple principle, and we can take that principle to today. It's how do we, in the most inflammatory way, throw these cards, the race card, the gender card. How can we do that? Who can we pay? So today, you have a situation where there's TikTok influencers who are throwing around their dietitian degrees, attacking you, attacking our good friend Courtney, attacking people that are out there literally saying that kids are being poisoned and we should eat natural food. Really, that's the message. It's a relatively straightforward message, actually, that let's eat food that doesn't have a ton of chemicals on it. Let's investigate where our food's coming from, the soil, the quality of our food. That's the message I would say you guys are giving. That is being viciously attacked. And they're using the class card. So they're saying that you guys are classist because so many people are poor and can only afford the crappy ultra-processed food. So how dare you shame these people who are already stressed enough? Now, what an Orwellian world. So let's understand this. So the food companies are lobbying tens of millions of dollars for agriculture subsidies to make our food ultra-processed and harmful. They are lobbying so that food stamps pay for this ultra-processed crap. They are funding nutrition research saying sugar doesn't cause obesity and seed oils are good. Okay, so they're creating this system. And then at the same time are secretly, through great reporting from Anahad O'Connor at the Washington Post, who's a hero, they are paying TikTok influencers. They're paying the top dietitian TikTok influencers in the country to attack anyone asking questions about the system that's corrupt that they created. And they're using the class. They're also, of course, calling you guys fat phobic. And it recently came out, amazingly, and this just shows how connected everything is. The LA Unified School District, the largest school district in the country, shared on their Instagram a reel from a influencer who's a body inclusive influencer. And it said it is fat phobic and actually racial oppression, systemic oppression, to judge what anyone eats, because some lower income and people of color can only afford low quality food, and that you should only insult a donut if that donut has mold on it. You should never shame anyone for having a donut. The LA Unified School District shared this on their Instagram account, and it turned out that influencer who's saying it's racist to criticize somebody eating a donut it turned out was paid for by Nestle in a secret filing, not disclosed. That is what we're dealing with. But this is not complicated. We almost like assume these companies have our interests at heart or assume they're not fighting for their interests. Every one of those companies, right, has numbers to meet, has growth targets. They'll be fired if they don't hit them. And it is not complicated how to win the debate. You shut it down. So that's why I do think it's important. And I think more and more people are calling BS. My mindset is I really do feel like I'm fighting for my child. I mean, it sounds trite, but that really is how I feel. I mean, we're on the right side of history here. You know, we can't be deterred by these pot shots that will inevitably come, because that's just the step in the playbook. And I think by you standing up to Joe Rogan, standing up for a lot of these warriors out there that I'm in the, trying to follow in the footsteps of, I think the more people that can stand up and take some of the arrows from this BS astroturfing, using racialization, using gender dynamics to scare people from not defending kids, the better. But I can tell you from my friends from Harvard Business School and kind of the traditional world who I love, you can't ask these questions at the country club. You can't ask these questions in polite society. You can't ask these questions at the cocktail party. So it's something I'm talking a lot about them. I see it. I feel it sometimes, right? And there's just this echo chamber. And what is that echo chamber created by? It's created by the fact that those institutions, the Harvard, the Stanford, the media that kind of defines the conversation parameters, the government, it's all funded by these institutions. So these well-meaning, left-leaning elites actually are playing into a corporate game that they don't even understand.
It's crazy. Yeah. And meanwhile, I've done content where I go to Walmart or Target or Fry's, just any grocery store USA, and show people how to eat an animal-based diet for less than $15 or sometimes even $12 or $11 a day. And I think, okay, like, how much money does somebody who's lower income actually have per person to spend per day on food? And I think, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think it's probably in the realm of $7 to $12 a day per person. I think below $7 a day per person on food is that's like impoverished. And you could use, if you were at that level, and I want to talk about food stamps next with you, you could use food stamps to buy any of the foods that I'm talking about at Target or Walmart on animal-based diet. You could go, and yes, I'm a fan of grass-fed, grass-finished beef, regenerative beef, but at the end of the day, a 5-pound, sort of sausage of ground beef is $3.35 a pound. And if you feed that to your child, if you're low income and you feed a half pound of that to your child per day, they're going to be getting so many nutrients. They're not getting the best beef in the world, but they're getting amazing nutrients and way better food than a Snickers bar at $3.35 a pound. Even someone that cannot cook their food can go to McDonald's and buy 4 quarter-pound patties for $7. You can get 1 pound of cooked beef, and McDonald's says it's not the best beef in the world. They says it's 100% beef. And I've done this, I didn't eat the patties, but we showed it on Instagram because, I'm not going to go that far, but I'd rather, I gave them to someone actually. But you can get, it's not classist because if someone at a very low income wanted to make the decisions, you could go to Walmart or Target or whatever grocery store you want to shop at and get a banana, honey. Maybe honey isn't the best choice for them, but you could get an organic honey, you could get ground beef, you could get bananas, ground beef, and butter. That's a great diet for less than $10 a day. So it's just, by me and other people saying, hey, here's what I think the ideal thing is. Okay, grass-fed beef, organic fruit, some raw milk. It's not classist to say that. I think that's saying this is the ideal. But if you want to make it work for you wherever you're at, it's completely possible.
They're literally, let's just talk facts here. There's literally not a more important issue in the country, in my opinion, that kids are being poisoned. A kid that's pre-diabetic is going to have, let's just speak facts here, they're going to have a more depressed, more tortured life. They're going to have
Good question.
They're going to have worse mental health. They're going to die earlier. They're not going to perform as well for their family, for their work. They're going to have a worse life. And I think we need to just say that for what it is. Diabetes is cellular metabolic dysfunction. 20% of your energy is produced in your brain. It's connected. And you're going to be on a life of devastation. Your parent, and let's just speak plainly about this, it is vital that parents know this and that they fight to not have that happen. So I think there is some top down, and I'm really pushing on the top down, with my company, with working with members of Congress, with the advocacy. We've got to, for those lowest income people in America, they're getting absolutely screwed, slanted into where all they can afford with the food stamps is ultra processed crap that's also addictive. But I also do think, and I just want to speak plainly, at least what my framework is, and I think it's really, again, it's really hard, and I think kids are addicted, and I'm much more cynical about the system than parents. I don't think parents are trying to kill their kids. But if you can't afford some beef for your children and you're not at the dire poverty level, you should move to a smaller house. Like that's how literally, like I think it's just plain talk. You should make other sacrifices in your life. I don't think there's much things that are more important than what you're putting in your child's body. We go to Aldi and get regenerative grass-fed beef. I think it's $6 or $7 a pound.
It's amazing.
Get beef for $3 a pound, $3.50 a pound, as you said. And it's just like, I think we need to speak plainly there, especially if you know this information. We are up against an absolute buzzsaw for kids in this country. Your kid is going to be worse off in life if they're eating inflammatory crap, if they're eating the unholy trinity of added sugar, seed oils, and highly processed grains, in my opinion. And that is responsibility on the parents. And I think there needs to be, and there is more bottoms-up empowerment, but it is a radical, I think it's hard for people to understand and lose their trust in the system.